During World War II, fighter pilots became legends. They were heralded as the best and brightest their respective nations had to offer, and the American fighter pilots were immediate national heroes. Their exploits became tabloid gold, and those who became aces, with 5 or more aerial victories, became public idols. Some were very colorful, almost legendary in their swashbuckling lifestyles and demeanor, and one, Robin Olds, was perhaps the best example of the cowboy in the sky, a man determined to be successful despite the odds. Who was Robin Olds? What was it about him that made him so different from most other fighter pilots? How did he handle what he perceived to be the political problems that impeded military effectiveness? And how effective was he as a combat leader? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, a veteran of the United States Army and Marine Corps, former history professor, book author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History. Robin Olds was born July 22, 1922 in Honolulu, Hawaii, the son of Major General Robert Olds, a World War I era instructor pilot, and later an aide to General Billy Mitchell, and he was a developer of the long-range bomber program bringing the B-17 Flying Fortress to life. Olds' mother died when he was 4 years old, and he grew up in the Hampton and Langley Airfield region of Virginia, where his father was assigned. He knew all of the future luminaries of American aviation, men who would be in high command positions in World War II. These familiarities would serve him well later. At the age of 8, he flew with his father in an open cockpit biplane trainer and was transfixed on aviation. After World War II began, with the German invasion of Poland on September 1, 1939, Olds attempted to join the Royal Canadian Air Force, but his father would not allow him to. Instead of entering college right after high school in 1939, Olds enrolled at Millard Preparatory School for West Point in Washington, D.C. This was a school established to prepare men for the entrance examinations to the military academies. He was accepted on June 1, 1940, and attended West Point, where he became an All-American football player. During this period, his father, Major General Robert Olds, died in 1943. Despite a rough patch with his superiors, Olds graduated and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Air Corps. Olds completed the primary flight program at the Spartan School of Aviation in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and later completed basic and advanced training at Stewart Field, New York. He completed fighter pilot training with the 329th Fighter Group based at Grand Central Air Terminal in Glendale, California. Olds was promoted to first lieutenant on December 1, 1943, and joined the cadre assigned to build up the newly activated 434th Fighter Squadron, part of the 479th Fighter Group based at Lomita, California. Olds logged 650 hours of flying time during training, including 250 hours in the P-38 Lightning. After relocating to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey, his unit embarked upon the USS Argentina in May, landing in Scotland, and then going to their base at RAF Waddesdon, England. His unit began bomber escort missions, and he was now Captain Olds and a squadron leader. Olds had many memorable combat events over Europe, such as, on August 23, 1944, he and his wingmen jettisoned their external drop tanks to engage around 50 Messerschmitt 109s. Olds had forgotten to switch his fuel over to the internal tanks, and his engines died. He was still in dead-stick glide mode when he scored the first of 3 kills on that mission. He went into a dive to help a P-51 Mustang with 2 109s on his tail when the G-forces and pressure, despite his best efforts to recover, blew out the left window of his canopy. He experienced compressibility due to the high-speed dive. His controls were frozen. He managed to recover control just before he would have impacted just a few feet above a wheat field with a 109 on his tail. He stalled at a 90-degree angle, and the enemy passed by and Olds shot him down. He had just become the group's first fighter ace. The 479th Fighter Group transitioned into the P-51D Mustang in mid-September 1944. Olds completed his first combat tour on November 9, 1944, logging 270 hours of combat time and 6 confirmed kills. After a 2-month leave, he returned to Wadisham on January 15, 1945, and he scored steadily, and his final victory was on April 7, 1945. On this date, he shot down a 109 and reported a damaged Me-262 jet. In reality, post-war German records show that his damaged jet was, in fact, a kill. The aircraft was flown by a Captain Tronicke, who landed wheels up on the 2 engine nacelles on a grass field, but he had been mortally wounded and was found dead in the cockpit. This was a victory that Olds never received credit for, but is chronicled in my book, The Me-262 Stormbird. Olds finished World War II officially credited with 13 German planes shot down and 11.5 other aircraft destroyed on the ground. His score should be 14 aerial victories in World War II. Olds was also the only pilot to make ace in both the P-38 with 5 victories and the P-51 scoring 8 victories. He was promoted to major at the age of 22, an unheard of accomplishment, being that he was only two years out of West Point. Later, Olds, like all the other pilots who remained on active duty, transitioned into the new jets, flying the P-80. He was also instrumental in helping form the first air demonstration team for the newly created and separate U.S. Air Force. Olds competed in air races and was returned to England on an exchange program with the RAF flying the Gloucester Meteorjet fighter. In fact, he commanded No. 1 Squadron at Royal Air Force Station Tangmere between October 20, 1948 and September 25, 1949, and was the first foreigner to ever command an RAF unit in peacetime. Upon his return to the United States in November 1949, he checked out in the North American F-86 Sabre, the new Air Force frontline fighter, while stationed at March Air Force Base with the 94th Fighter Squadron of the 1st Fighter Group. When the Korean War erupted, Olds wanted to go and fight. That was just his nature. But his repeated requests were all declined. What Olds did not know was that his wife at the time, actress Ella Raines, had a lot of political pull due to her status, and she did not want him going overseas. He had to read about the other World War II aces, such as Walker Bud Mahurin and Francis Gabreski, now flying against the communists, scoring kills, while he remained stateside. Olds was promoted to lieutenant colonel on February 20, 1951, and full colonel on April 15, 1953, and then assigned to Landstuhl, Germany, commanding the F-86s of the 86th Fighter Interceptor Wing. Later, he became chief of the Weapons Proficiency Center at Wheelus Air Force Base in Libya, in charge of all fighter weapons training for the United States Air Forces Europe until July 1958. Not to be deterred, Robin Olds saw an opportunity as Vietnam was getting into high gear. Using his great personal relation skills and tactical wisdom, he managed to anger his superior, a brigadier general, just enough to punish him by sending him to the war. Olds arrived in Thailand and took command of the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, based at Ubon Royal Thai Air Force Base. Joining Olds were Colonel Vermont Garrison, an ace in both World War II and Korea, and in December, Olds brought in Daniel Chappie James Jr., one of the original Tuskegee Airmen from World War II. Olds and James became known as Black Man and Robin, and the team was effective. Following up on a suggestion to the 7th Air Force commander, Major General William Mamier, Olds developed his plan, called Operation BOLO. This plan was to draw North Vietnamese MiG-21 fighters into a fight and destroy them, as they had been hitting the F-105 Thunder Chief tactical bombers very hard. Olds' plan was to simulate an F-105 bombing formation, following the same attack routes using their radio channels and jamming pods. The ruse worked. 7 of the 16 MiG-21s in service with North Vietnam were shot down. Other missions followed, and Olds again scored 3 more victories. On May 4th, Olds destroyed another MiG-21 over Phu Quyen. 2 weeks later, on May 20th, he destroyed 2 MiG-17s in a massive dogfight. Olds had 4 confirmed MiG kills, but declined to shoot down his 5th, because he found out that as soon as he made ace in that war, he would be relieved of command. He was awarded his 4th Silver Star for leading a 3-aircraft low-level bombing strike on March 30, 1967, and the Air Force Cross for an attack on the Paul Doumer Bridge in Hanoi on August 11, 1967. As a result of his success, Ho Chi Minh placed a $100,000 bounty on his head. Robin, in his own words, said that he felt insulted. He felt that he was worth a lot more because he had cost Ho Chi Minh 10 times that amount in the losses that he had inflicted upon him. Olds flew 259 total combat missions, which included 107 in World War II and 152 in Southeast Asia, 105 of those over North Vietnam. He bitterly complained about the early Phantoms not having internally mounted guns and being solely reliant upon missiles in air-to-air combat. Many possible victories were lost as a result of this oversight. In an act of defiance, he started growing his non-regulation handlebar mustache, in his own version of giving the middle finger to the establishment that he believed had cost American lives and reduced their effectiveness. Upon returning to Washington, D.C., he reported to his first interview with Air Force Chief of Staff General John P. McConnell. And McConnell walked up to him, stuck a finger under his nose and said, "Take it off." Olds replied, "Yes, sir," and shaved off the mustache. Olds reported for duty to the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado in December 1967. He served as Commandant of Cadets for 3 years and sought to restore morale following the well-publicized cheating scandal. Olds was later promoted to Brigadier General on June 1, 1968. In February 1971, Olds assumed his last duty assignment as Director of Aerospace Safety in the Office of the Inspector General, Headquarters, USAF, and after December 1971, as part of the Air Force Inspection and Safety Center at Norton Air Force Base, California. Later that year, he toured the Air Force bases in Southeast Asia on an inspection mission to assess fighter readiness for air-to-air combat. And what he reported was not what his superiors, especially the Air Force Chief of Staff, General John D. Ryan, wanted to hear. Olds was proven correct following the launching of Operation Linebacker. Navy and Marine pilots who had attended their Top Gun fighter school proved the value of Olds' previous warnings. The USN and USMC pilots flying gun-equipped F-4s scored aerial kills at an average ratio of 3 to 1, while the Air Force suffered at a 1-for-1 ratio, proving Olds was right. Brigadier General Robin Olds retired on June 1, 1973. His personal awards include the U.S. Air Force Cross, the U.S. Air Force Command Pilot Badge, 2 Air Force Distinguished Service Medals, 4 Silver Stars, Legion of Merit, 6 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 40 Air Medals, the Distinguished Flying Cross from the United Kingdom, and the Croix de Guerre with Silver Star from France. His final score is 17 victories, including 4 in Vietnam, yet he still needs to be credited with the Me-262 jet confirmed shot down by him in World War II from the German records. His official record should reflect 18 victories, with 14 in World War II. Robin Olds was a true maverick, but he was a man who got things done, and did so with flair. Those men under his command loved him, and that is about as good as it gets for a combat leader. I had the privilege of knowing and interviewing Robin Olds, and that interview in its entirety can be found in my book, Above the Reich. Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please click like, subscribe, and share. Send us comments and show ideas, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time.